Welcome back to Roosevelt Live. This segment of the show, we're going to talk about the government trying to dictate to us again on what's good for us and what isn't with these McDonald's Happy Meals. Again, you know, I don't like no way any censorship from the government, because once it starts, the bleeding starts, the cut is open, the blood can run anywhere. Okay, basically, once you let people start telling, irregardless, if you're getting a Happy Meal for your kids, and people say, well, the Happy Meal, it's got French fries in it, and burgers, and McNuggets, and this thing's got too much fat in it, and it's not good for you, and in the long run, the kids, so this, that. I'm not trying to hear that, because be it real or not real, the government shouldn't be telling us that we can't buy a Happy Meal, or taking the toys out, because they say, well, we're going to take the toys out because the kids want the meals, the attraction to the meals is the toys. So what? I mean, sometimes your parents maybe can't buy any toys. Maybe the kid did something good and you pay that little $1.99 or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, and get that little Happy Meal, and the kid get a little toy and he or she is happy. But you can replace that stuff still. You don't have to give them, you give them a little bit. Maybe you do it once a month or something. It's not what you eat, it's how much of it you're eating. We all know that. I mean, so if you're eating a Happy Meal every day, hey, okay, that may be a problem, but still, where does it stop? Do they next tell us, I need to see your grocery list? Because, okay, let's say you take away, and people say, oh, you know, it's bad for the kids. Okay, fine. You take away the Happy Meals. Now, like I said, what's next? You're going to have to turn in your grocery list to the government. They're going to have to check out what we can and cannot buy. That doesn't sound far-fetched to me. It may sound far-fetched to somebody else that say, oh, you're exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating anything, because it's only a matter of time if someone can tell you what to feed your kids. It's insane to say that to me, personally. I would not let somebody tell me what to feed my kids. As a parent, I should know better. Now, it's not the government decision to find out if I know better. Okay, they say take away the Happy Meals, because kids over the long run is going to create a problem. Because obesity, they say, is up, and the ages of 6 to 11 is up, you know, some 20%. But I contribute that to other things too. I can contribute it to video games, sitting around too much on a video game. When I was a kid, you were outside all the time. You were outside, you played kickball, dodgeball, baseball, football, basketball, tug of war. I mean, you had all those little games that didn't cost money, you know, that you could play as a kid. You were outside a lot. Now the kids got the video games, they're inside, sitting down all day on the couch, in the chair, pushing on little controllers. Then our kids got cell phones, they're texting all the time, they're not going anywhere, they're not socializing. I contributed to that. I contributed to the overall eating process. Maybe it's even got something to do with the crap that they put in the foods. You know, we got cows, and we got animals that are a lot bigger than what they used to be. So what are the government feeding these animals, or whoever's raising these animals? What are they feeding these animals to make these animals so big? Okay, so maybe that's part of the process. If you're giving those animals growth hormones, whatever, then we're eating those animals and we're taking in some of that stuff into our bodies. Then it causes us to be overweight. It could be a combination of things. I'm not going to sit back and just try to blame it on a Happy Meal. It might seem, it's always that little subtle thing where, you know, we try to do something that we think everybody's going to jump on board with. The next thing you know, they're going to hit you with something that you're really going to be surprised about. Like I said, next thing, a grocery list. Then what? Then we need to start producing. What did we spend our own money for? They were going to look at our refrigerator and say, well, wait a minute, you got beer in here. Maybe that's not good for you and your bladder, or you eating too much ice cream, or you know, now you driving your car and you got your AC's on too much in your house. You're not getting fresh air in. You haven't changed your filters this month. I mean, it has to stop somewhere before it gets started, where people are jumping up and trying to tell us what to do for the sake of us. The government is trying to protect us against us. When I say I don't need the government or anybody else protecting me against me, it don't make any sense. If you want to buy your kid a Happy Meal, that's your business. Whether they taking in too much fat or not, at the end of the day, that's still your personal business. Nobody knows your pocket like you know it. No one knows what you have to go through like you know. No one knows if you're raising kids in a single family home. No one knows that whether or not you're working 2 jobs and you're trying to do the best you can, and all these things in between. But what always bothers me is that back in the old days, when people didn't have all this, we have all this sophistication now that we seem to be, you notice, we're sicker now than we were in the old days. Why? In the old days, people were eating all kind of fats, eating all kind of greasy foods, cooking with all kind of unhealthy oils, and some of those people are living to be 110 years old. So is it the food? Or is it what's put in the food? Because people are eating this junk worse than what it is today. Years ago, as far as the food in general. I mean, a lot of people especially in the inner city areas. The poor people didn't have money to go out there and buy all the fancy stuff. They wasn't baking stuff. You were frying chicken. You were frying fish. I grew up on it. It was a good meal. But I thought it was anyway. Back in those days, you was deep frying all that stuff every day. And I didn't see the wreak havoc. Some people may say, well, how do you know? It's still early. Maybe, you know, somehow that. Maybe it won't. Okay? Maybe people are dying early now too. So I don't like the idea of them telling us that the kids can't. I don't have any young kids, but if I did, and I have it at one time in life, and my son did eat Happy Meals, and to this day he's a skinny kid, so it definitely ain't put no weight on him. So I don't see that being a problem. They say, you know, the obesity and amongst kids today is up 30%. Over the last 30 years it rose 20%. I'm sorry, but even in that is not a contributor to only eating Happy Meals at McDonald's. A lot of the poor families can't even afford to get their kids Happy Meals. So why are their kids overweight? It's due to lack of exercise and all this crap that's put in the foods today. I think that's what's making America overweight. I mean, hey, you take a test. Decide, look at your calendar, the day's date, and take 30 days from the day and don't eat any meat. How much you want to bet that I believe, and I've tried the test, I took 3 months off, didn't eat any meat, and the first thing that happened, there two things happened. Number one, lost weight automatically, even if I wasn't trying. And number two, my appetite seemed to change a whole bunch. I wasn't hungry as much. Why? Because all the crap that's in the meat in the first place, I think it caused your appetite to increase. Because for 90 days, I didn't eat any, and I had a very limited appetite. And then when I got back on it, 93, you know, right at the end of my 90 days, all of a sudden I was hungry every day again, eating like crazy again. As soon as I started eating that meat again, it started all over again. Something's in it, I believe, anyway. Some people agree with that, some people don't. But I still say that the people that serve the Happy Meals, whether it's a McDonald's or any fast food place, it's up to the individual parents to give their kids Happy Meals or not. Not up to the federal government or any other state within the United States to start saying you can't do this. We got to protect you from your own. This is the ridiculous thing I ever heard. And I heard on the news, I watched on the news that people, you know, that's where I got the story from when I was looking at it on the news, and I said, what? This don't make any sense, because we cannot let them dictate to us what to do. It's only a matter of time, people. You could hear today, worse tomorrow. I'm telling you. You may think it's crazy to talk about the grocery list, but if they can stop you from feeding your kid Happy Meals, and you go along with that nonsense, what's going to happen? When you head to the grocery store, and if somebody standing at the door with a checklist, we need to see your grocery list. We need to see if you're buying the right foods, because we have a health care problem in this country. Yeah, we got a health care problem in this country because no one can afford health care. Yeah, the people with health care always don't care about it because they got it already. But people that don't have it do care because they don't have it. So it's important. I mean, when an ambulance ride costs you, I don't know, $500,000 to get ridden from your house to the hospital, that's the problem. We don't like health care reform in this country. Then why don't we forget about giving free health care and start lowering the price that it takes for people to get health care? We don't need to have free health care. I'd rather see people lower the price than they have to, because nothing's free. Obviously, if we got free health care, taxpayers are paying for it. So, hey, I'd be more willing to buy into lowering the price of health care on a whole than giving it away. I'm not a giveaway and tax and spend person. Never have been, never will be. So, but and a little bit, yeah, off the subject, sure it is. But I always digress. So and people that watch the show are going to know it's going to happen. It always does. So it's just a part of the show. But I would in no way agree that the government or the state of Florida or any state should be regulating what we buy as a food product for our children. Be it good, bad, or indifferent, I still say leave it in the hands of the parents. Because the funny thing about that, they want to dictate to you what the kids should eat at with the Happy Meals, which happen to be at McDonald's. So what happens at Wendy's? What about Taco Bell? What happens over there? What happens at Burger King? I mean, the list goes on and on. We'll go to Waffle House, IHOP. I mean, what's going to happen? What about the kids' birthday parties? Are we going to say, hey, you can't have ice cream and cake? I mean, stupid, in my opinion.